Hello, subjects.
Hello there, loyal subjects. Man, it's been a hot minute since I uploaded a video. I really don't know what we're gonna do. Kind of just shooting from the hip on this one. Gonna revisit some old childhood memories. It could be anything from music, movies, TV shows, fashion. As some of you may know, Caryn is 8 years my junior, so she is going to be in a slightly different area as far as memory goes, maybe more of the late 80s, early 90s. Let's tackle Saturday morning growing up.
Okay.
Cartoons. Did you have a favorite cartoon?
I hate cartoons. I've always hated cartoons.
Hated cartoons?
Yeah.
Even as a child?
My mom said I loved Smurfs. She said that I used to sing and I had a Smurf guitar. But
well, that was a cartoon. So.
I know, but the irony is I absolutely hate Smurfs. Like as far back as I can actually remember, I never liked them. So when mom tells me that I love the Smurfs, that blows my mind.
Do you remember the Snorks?
I did like the Snorks a little bit. I did. I was more into
The Snorks were basically just the underwater version of the Smurfs.
Yeah, but I remember Pinwheel. Mom said I used to sing Pinwheel all the time. Mm-hmm. You remember that show?
Oh, yeah, I remember Pinwheel.
I hated Sesame Street. I remember every time they made us watch it in kindergarten, I was just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we're having to watch this.
You got to watch Sesame Street?
Occasionally. It was
I was more of the live action show. Sesame Street, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, Captain Kangaroo. I loved all those live action shows when I was a kid. I don't even remember the cartoons that much, but I do remember all those great live action shows. Mr. Green Jeans. All right.
I don't even know what that is.
He was on Captain Kangaroo, Mr. Green Jeans.
I never saw Captain Kangaroo. I only know who he is because he was the guys, like, they do memes and stuff about him. That's all I know about him.
What about other TV shows growing up? It doesn't necessarily have to be when you were a kid.
The original Saved by the Bell. I remember watching that. Like, I would get up on Saturday mornings, and I think that came on a little bit later than the cartoons, and so then I would watch Saved by the Bell. I remember I occasionally liked Fraggle Rock.
I remember that.
And that's funny because I don't like the Muppets. Like, I don't like puppets in general.
You don't like a lot of things. So negative.
It's not negative. It's just I never liked them.
Going back to the Saturday morning thing, did you have a favorite cereal that you would eat while you watched cartoons? That was always... I liked Waffle-Os. Does anybody remember Waffle-Os? They were delicious. They were like crispy little waffles, and they had the syrup flavor embedded in them. And I would eat my Waffle-Os.
I can remember my mom making us grits, and she always put butter in them. And then that was usually before school. And then I can remember, so when mom was out of town, and everybody's going to think this is really weird, but if you try it, you got to let me know. Because, and maybe it's just nostalgia for me at this point. I remember he would make us toast. You put peanut butter on it, and then you put Miracle Whip. It sounds absolutely disgusting, but I loved it. It's one of those things, I know, it's really weird, but you got to try it.
Do you remember Tough Skin jeans?
No.
If you remember what Tough Skins are, you're probably my age, because those things were hideous. And they looked and felt like lumber. They were incredibly stiff, but that's why they were called Tough Skins. They were made to last, but they looked and felt like crap. So what do you remember about fashion growing up?
Z Cavaricci's, Girbaud, and I remember the fad where everybody was wearing those Jinkos. Those were awful, awful. I remember in junior high, people were bigger on labels. And in high school, it was actually cooler not to have a label. And so, like,
that was the
I'm
complete
all
opposite
about
for me.
No labels.
When it got to high school, that amped up. Name brands were like the thing. Z Cavaricci's were hideous. If you don't remember them, the waist literally came up below your nipples. They were ridiculous. They were tightly waisted, and then they kind of ballooned out like the MC Hammer pants, and then they were excruciatingly tight again at the ankle.
With
hideous
tight roll.
Yes. Yeah. I don't even think he had to roll them. I think they were made tight at the ankle.
No. My mom, I remember I
any.
wanted Girbaud, but she ended up getting me Z Cavaricci's. And I remember tight rolling them.
See, I thought they were specifically like guy jeans because I don't remember seeing girls in Z Camp.
No, girls had them too.
Wow. I don't know. I always refer to them as director pants because they always look like pants like a director, an old-timey director would flare out on the sides. Do you remember Skids?
Yes.
The really baggy plaid pants?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember those.
I
Those
can
were pretty
see
comfortable.
you wearing those.
Yeah, it was.
As a
Those were
skater,
great because it was almost like getting away with wearing your pajamas to school. Actors and celebrities from your youth. You didn't have pinups of anybody on your wall? Or
no, I didn't.
no teen idols?
No, none. Not a single magazine.
I had a Madonna poster up in my room, and my mom thought that was scandalous. And she almost made me take it down. And it was incredibly tame, too. It was an incredibly tame poster, but Madonna at the time was taboo. Okay, music. I can tell you what my first 45 was. Do you even know what a 45 is?
Is that the small records?
Yes. And then my first album and my first cassette and my first CD. I can tell you all of those.
None.
And I will. Did you have any of those?
I had cassette tapes. And
You had to have CDs at some point.
well, yeah. Yeah, when I was like in high school probably. I mean, I had a lot of, but I'm eclectic. Like the music I like now isn't the music I necessarily liked back then.
I can definitely vouch for that.
You remember that song "Swingin'"?
Yes. John Anderson.
I don't know who that is, but he was singing it, and it was one of those memories that was seared because Mom was just having so much fun singing it. And even though it annoyed me, I still liked it. No, not Mom doing that. I mean, like the guys swinging, like it's just this twangy.
That was a mega popular hit when that came out.
She loved it. I remember
I was in
that.
6th grade when that came out.
But
too.
as far as like my own personal thing, New Kids on the Block is probably the first group. Oh, I liked Whitney Houston when I was little. I did like Whitney Houston. I remember that. And what was her name? Debbie somebody.
Gibson?
Yeah. I think I liked her.
Wow. I thought that would have been way before your time. By the way, first 45, Beach Boys, rock and roll music. First album was Stevie Wonder's Hotter Than July. Very cool. It was like a pull-out double side, like the old Frampton Comes Alive, when you would open the album and it was like a 2-part picture, and it was Stevie. It was a painting of him, and he was sweating because it was hotter than July, and he had like his multicolored braids on, and it looked awesome. My first cassette was a rap group named Houdini. I don't know if y'all remember the song "The Freaks Come Out at Night." That was Houdini, bought for me by my dad at the mall.
No way.
Who kind of gave me that look like doesn't really know what's becoming of his son.
But he still bought it?
Yes, he did. And
That's huge.
My first CD was Silk Degrees by Boz Scaggs. You probably don't even know who Boz Scaggs is. But that, my friend, is an eclectic collection of music. But
And you're going to mock me.
it's funny how that's seared into your brain that you remember all the stuff that you bought as far as music goes. So you want to talk about movies growing up? The ones that you remember the most? Obviously, it's going to be Star Wars for me and the original Star Wars trilogy.
Mom didn't like going to the movies. She never was one of those. She didn't watch much TV and stuff. And I remember her and her friend wanted to go see 8 Mile. No, not 8 Mile. Eminem. 8 Minutes.
8 minutes? Are you talking about 8 seconds?
Yes.
How do we go from 8 Mile to 8 minutes and then 8 seconds?
They all have 8.
Wow.
See it
Thinking
there.
about your mom dying to see 8 Mile is hilarious.
But she let the kids, we all got to go see the very first Jurassic Park. I also remember going, she used to drop us off at you remember the Dollar Cinema?
Yes.
So you could watch, I mean, there were still decent, somewhat current movies.
MacArthur Village Cinema. That was a normal theater until it kind of got run down and became the Dollar Cinema. Do you ever remember like pulling up to the theater and seeing like your first like long line? Just seeing people just standing down the block. That doesn't happen anymore because of pre-orders and all that. But I remember driving through the parking lot, and there was literally people winding all the way down, and I was like, what is going? Rambo. They were there to see Rambo. That was how big of a movie that was at the time. But
I can remember I went to a movie with, we were in elementary school, and her dad took me and her to go see, it was a Prince movie.
well, that would be Purple Rain.
Is that the only Prince movie?
Well, I doubt it was Under the Cherry Moon, which was his next movie that was kind of a flop.
I remember we went there, and it was a rough crowd. Her dad was military because
A rough crowd in a Prince movie?
Yeah, because it was very rambunctious.
First of all, what were you doing at Purple Rain, which was an R-rated movie? Because I was in junior high when that came out, which meant you were like really young.
Her dad was really, he allowed a lot of things.
It is a well-written rule that if you're watching a movie as a young child and your parents come in, the most inappropriate scene of that movie will come on at that particular moment. Well, my mom took me to a movie called Yellowbeard when I was growing up, which was a like Monty Python comedy movie about a pirate, and it was extremely inappropriate. I don't know how it didn't get an R rating. Yeah, we sat through the whole thing.
I bet she was
my mom even chuckled a few times.
No, she didn't.
Yes, she did. But yeah, there was some scenes in there that made me feel very uncomfortable to be watching with my mom. And yeah, I don't know how that thing got a PG rating. But so we're gonna wrap that one up. I know we kind of rambled. We're a little rusty because, like I said, it has been a while. But maybe we'll do another one of this, a two-parter one. I still want to do another Hot or Not.
He just wants to see somebody, apparently.
No. Because now that I know how to do it after the last one.
I apparently don't know how to do it.
Well, you obviously just want a bunch of hot people. Because...
Oh, no. I just don't want you to scrape the bottom of the barrel.
Have a great weekend. We love you. Goodbye.
What's up, baby?